Hello and welcome to Mr. Paul's Pantry. I'm Mr. Paul, and if you're new here, a very warm welcome. If you're returning, then it's nice to see you again. Don't forget, when you're finished, if you like the video, go below, give it a thumbs up to let me know you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions or queries, leave those underneath. I do read them all and try to answer as many as I possibly can. Okay? And if you haven't subscribed already, press the subscribe button just underneath, and if you press the little bell icon at the side, YouTube will let you know every time I put up a new video, so you won't miss one. Okay, now today's recipe is called an Anytime Sultana Cake, and I call it the Anytime Sultana Cake because nearly always for many years we've had one of these in the cake tin just in case anybody pops round for tea. It keeps well, it's nice, most people like it, and it's easy to make. So we'll start off with the ingredients. First of all, we've got some self-raising flour. Now, if you're like me, I only have plain flour, but you can use plain flour and add 20 grams of baking powder. And if you're not sure, if you haven't got a gram scale, you should have, by the way, I measured this teaspoon, leveled it off, and it took 3 of those, making 20 grams. That makes your self-raising flour. The flour is 225 grams. We've got butter, we've got 140 grams, softened to room temperature. We've got 140 grams of sugar. I haven't got it on here. Oh, sorry, it's over on the draining board. Never mind, I'll bring it over. 140 grams of sugar. I use white sugar in this, but you can use whatever you want. It's 3 medium-sized eggs. Now, eggs, if you weigh them, a medium-sized egg out of the shell should weigh about 50 grams. So that's 150 grams of egg, or 3 medium eggs. And a teaspoon of lemon zest and 170 grams of sultanas. I'm using golden sultanas today because it's all I had in the cupboard. Now you will see some white powdery bits on these, and what I've done, they were very old, they were very dry, and I don't like throwing things away. So what I did was I soaked them for 10 minutes in some boiling water. I drained them off and dried them as well as I could and just dusted them with flour. Alright, and that'll stop them sinking in the cake. So there we have the ingredients. Now I'm going to put mine into a 2-pound loaf tin. That's 900 grams. I like cakes in this. I like lemon drizzle cakes in this sort of tin. I like any sort of Madeira cake in this sort of tin, but you can use any sort of tin you want. I use a loaf tin, and that's 900 grams, and I just line the bottom and ends with a little bit of greaseproof or non-stick paper. That helps me be able to lift it out at the end. If you want, if you've got smaller loaf tins, these are 2 1-pound loaf tins, and this mixture will make 2 of those. Okay, so let's get on with it. Right, now you can do this by hand if you want, or with a hand mixer, or I'm going to use the stand mixer. So first of all, we're going to pop in the sugar and the softened butter. Now it's important that this butter is soft. I'll show you how soft. If you can see that, look, it's very soft. I'm going to mix that. Now if you've got a stand mixer, you can either use this beater, or I use a Kenwood mixer, and actually they've brought out this mixer beater, and it's actually got some rubberized fins here, and it scrapes the bowl as it goes round, so you don't have to keep scraping down the bowl each time, which is an excellent idea. But normally you have to push the contents down halfway through. And we need to mix this till it's nice and creamy and very light coloured. Now the lighter this is, the fluffier it is, the nicer the cake will be. It's not quite there yet. I try to mix this for about 5 minutes. Now the next stage is we're going to add the eggs. We've got 3 eggs, and if you remember what I said earlier, 3 standard size eggs, or medium size eggs should I say, in Europe is about 150 grams. They're 50 grams per egg. Now everything here has to be at room temperature, then you don't get any separation. Okay, so we're going to add the eggs one at a time, and beat them in each time until it's fully incorporated. Now, if you do find that your eggs start separating, you can always add a small amount of the flour with each egg. That will help it to stop separating. I'm going to put them in one at a time, as I said. Number 2 going in now. And now the 3rd one. Now I'm going to sift in the flour with my baking powder. There's my baking powder going in now. I'm going to sift it in and then we'll give it a good mix. Now I wouldn't normally sift in the flour if I was using just self-raising flour, but because I've put in the baking powder separate, I am making sure it's all mixed with the flour by sifting it. Now we want to gently blend that in. Not very fast and not very much. We only want to fold in the flour. And that's quite sufficient for this moment. There we are. So I'll just get the lemon zest. Okay, in goes the lemon zest. Only half a teaspoon, it doesn't need much. And followed by the sultanas. Now I want to fold them in again very gently. Now we don't want to do a lot of mixing at this time because otherwise it'll start to break the sultanas up and that will colour the batter and make it look very dark coloured. So just a short mix like that, and the batter's ready. So here we have the 900 gram loaf tin, the old £2 loaf tin, and what I've done is I've buttered it well inside, all round, so the bottom and ends will stick to the butter like that, and the sides are butter. It's a non-stick tin, but I don't trust the non-sticks anyway. So there we are, that's how it's going to go in. And we're going to put the batter directly into here. And it's going to go in a preheated oven for about an hour. I shall look at it at about 50 minutes. A little tip, when you're cooking cakes and things, never ever open the door and look at it until at least half the baking time has gone. That's most important. Just push it into the corners. You don't have to worry about leveling the top too much. Just push it into the corners like that. Now that's going into the oven, a preheated oven at 170. If you have a fan assisted oven, it needs to be lower than 170, about 150, but you'll have to look and check the instructions on your oven for that. They usually run a little hotter than a non-fan oven. I'm not using a fan in mine today. I never use a fan when I'm cooking cakes. because it dries the top off too quickly as far as I'm concerned, and then it starts to crack a lot when the batter tries to rise through it. So that's going in the oven now for about 1 hour. I shall look at it at 50 minutes and I'll see you then. So here we are, straight out of the oven. I'm going to test it with a skewer now just to see if it's cooked. Now it's coming out perfectly clean. That was in the oven for 50 minutes exactly, so not quite the hour that I thought. So there it is. We'll leave it a few minutes now, probably 10 or 15 minutes before we take it out of the tin and leave it on the rack to cool. Okay, now 15 minutes it's been cooling. I'm going to take it out of the tin. There we are. Leave that now to cool completely and then we'll come back, cut it and have a look inside. Well, here we are. This is the cake. I'm just going to sit down and have a nice cup of tea with a slice. If you've enjoyed the video, go down underneath, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments, leave them out. I do read them all and I try to answer as many as I possibly can. So this is Mr. Paul saying bye for now and I'll see you next time. Bye.